A lot of people have it in their minds that they can't retire until they hit some magic number for their retirement portfolio. So in today's video, we're going to talk about why that's the wrong way to approach retirement and what the solution is to that. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about where this idea for some magic number for your retirement portfolio comes from.
Amber, a lot of people think they gotta have $1 million, $2 million, $5 million to retire. For most people, that's not the case, right? The idea comes from a 1994 study by Morningstar, where they determined, they looked back and said, hey, if you want your income to last for 30 years, you need to take out about 4% a year. So people simplify that. They say, okay, 4 times 25 is 100%. So people think if they need $80,000 a year, they multiply that by 25, they gotta have $2 million in order to retire. So that's their number in their mind. They have to hit $2 million, and that's what they focus on that. It doesn't really work that way. Retirement's a little bit more complicated than just one calculation.
Okay, so this is the wrong way to think about retirement, but why? Why is that not the best or most effective way to plan for retirement?
Well, it's a starting point for sure, but not very effective because spending in retirement is not linear, right? Someone doesn't just spend exactly $80,000 a year every single year for the next 30 plus years, right? Spending is not linear. It changes. It adjusts for inflation. It adjusts when you get income from a pension or Social Security. It adjusts when you change Social Security claiming strategies if you're a married couple. It adjusts when you have to replace the furnace, get a new car. So spending is not linear in retirement. So this idea of a certain number so you can generate a certain amount of income each year is not the way to look at it.
So if someone should not be focused on a specific number, what should they be focused on so that they know when they're ready to retire or that they have enough money to retire?
Amber, they should really focus on their income needs. And those can change, as I mentioned, they're not variable. A lot of clients who we work with say, hey, I'd like to spend more money in the first 5 or 6 years of retirement to check off those bucket list items. So going back to our example of $80,000 a year, maybe the client needs $120,000 a year for the first 4 years of retirement, and then they can step it down. A retirement income plan that accounts for that is the solution. Generating a plan that says this is how much money you'll need to spend each year and where it will come from is a far superior way to determine if you're ready to retire, if you can afford to retire, than simply, I hit my number.
And when we're talking about an income plan, we are talking about retirement income, but we're also talking about some growth that covers things like inflation.
Right, we got to keep up with inflation, cost of living adjustments with Social Security, as we mentioned, even the death of a spouse, we have to account for that, or long-term care planning, right? Again, that number of $80,000 might be great in that simplified calculation, but what happens when you're spending an extra $60,000 a year for long-term care? How do you account for that in that original calculation? So the income plan is going to be very specific and focus on and address all of those items.
Another thing that an income plan can do is help you to spread the risk of longevity across greater numbers of people if you're using an insurance company. And that way you actually need a smaller number in your retirement accounts to generate the income that you need.
We've actually done another video on that, Amber, where we quote JP Morgan Asset Management. They give a great example of a 65-year-old having a birthday party and talking to an actuary, right? We talk about how spreading the risk out with an insurance company means you can get higher payouts. You can get more than 4% a year. You can get 5, 5.5, 6% a year because they're spreading that risk over a much greater population so that those that pass away early, a little bit of that can go to those that live longer. So again, using the right tools in your retirement planning can actually decrease the size of that number you think you need to retire.
Okay, so the magic number is not the focus, but an income plan is what we should be focused on.
Absolutely. Viewers need to focus on income, not assets in retirement. I'm going to say that again. Your focus in retirement needs to be on your income, not on your assets. And the income plan will do that. But it's very important to note that these income plans are living, breathing things, right? They're changing year to year. Right now, we are doing our annual reviews with our clients and we're having these kinds of discussions. What was our spending this year? Is that what our spending is going to be next year? How are the investments performing to meet those income goals, right? This is why you want to work with financial advisors who have expertise in retirement income planning.
So let's talk about an example of this. You just had a client come in this week who has recently inherited some money. So how does this tie in with the income planning?
Right, that wasn't part of our income plan to begin with, right? So we want to adjust it. She had in her mind one way to spend some of this extra money. We talked about it as the couple and myself. We sat down and said, okay, based on current inflation, based on a couple other things, maybe we should do part of that inheritance should come this way and then part should go the way you want. And we all agreed that was a far superior solution, but we revisited the plan, right? We pulled the plan up. We said, how does this impact our planning? Obviously, it's a bonus, right? Obviously, it's a good thing to inherit some money from her mother. But now, how do we apply that to the income plan? So again, a linear number doesn't do it. That retirement account number isn't going to do it. The assets don't do it. It's income. How do you have income coming in retirement? That is the solution.
So the magic number is way oversimplified, not what the focus should
Yeah,
be.
who would need financial advisors if you could just figure that out, right? That's real easy. No, it's too simple. You got to have a real retirement income plan.
So if you would like us to help you build a retirement income plan that addresses all of these concerns, tax planning, nursing home planning, all the things that you can't do by yourself, you can go to workwithnewgen.com and schedule a 15-minute introductory phone call.
Because you can make the rest of your life the best of your life.
Plan now to retire happy.